You want answers?
What's that going to set up?
We've got to go to work.
It's the Strat Attack Show. But we're always wondering what the next two is.
Holy shnikes, it worked.
That's something I want to know about.
What's your name, scumbag?
Strat Attack Show.
We're on a mission from God.
Here's Rob Smith.
Hello everyone, I'm Rob Smith, the Smith in the Black, and if it's Tuesday, we hop into the urban assault vehicle. It's the Strat Attack and see what's going on. So what we know is we've got a new month and we've got the Fed, right? So SPY to start off the week went 2 down, 2 up, but didn't really go very far. And so what we want to do is gain evidence as time goes by, right? We want nice long red and green bars like last month. We had this beautiful, nice long red bar, and now we're just starting off brand new, and we've got the Fed coming out. So what we're just going to do is start gaining clues. So there's something called the uncoupling. What that means is the second hour a week from today that we finally have 4 separate openings for the month, week, day, and 60. We gain more information. So what we want to see is during any given month, any given week, things to start getting nice and long and red and green because we know to go after them. So SPY, here we go, triangle out and triangle out. So this bar is still live. So that means it could take that down. So we want to be aware of this opening of 412.07. Because we start taking that out, then we're back down to the downside, right? We're not there yet. We got JPOW coming out. So I'm not going to waste too much time, but, I like to show the scans. And that's what I start doing, during the beginning periods, well, pretty much all the time, but because we want to see if there's any concentrations to start off and what we're going to be looking at. So this is a scan of taking out last week's highs. And so what we know right out the chute, you got Exxon, you got Oxy, you got Devon, and a bunch of other names in here too that we can take a look at. But that tells me that the energy sector was the place to be so far. So if we go back, if we go back to here, and you'll see XLE here. And per the weekend vid, a lot of 322s on here. XLE, ExxonMobil coming up here to take that out, Oxy, all these kind of guys. And let me get my scanner back up. It disappeared on me. There we go. And so we can go down the line and see what else do we see in these things. And a lot of this stuff was also in the Strat Time report. So Western Digi also coming up here, and Western Digi had a nice gap and hold, and that tells me the monthly. Take a look at the month. Remember, we've been watching that outside month. And then it was Rev Strat here, 122, and just didn't go very far. But now it's kicking in, being like whatever is going on over there is going well, and we see this outside bar. So I talked about that in there. So then if we want to go down to who's taking out last week's lows, let's take a look. I'm on the yearly over there. Because today, I saw a lot of people on Twitter getting chopped up. And I'm like, one of the things you'll hear me preach over and over and over is patience. You're like, I don't have a lot of evidence of what's going to happen here. I want to have a lot of evidence. And you don't have that when you start off the new month. So taking out last week's lows so far, not seeing any big boys. You got Marriott. And that tells me pandemics to keep an eye on here. Still inside on the month. But taking out these weeks. That's something I'd want to know about because this is also an outside week. Shooter, and back into an outside week. Because we know EXPE got lumped today. And that's something I'd want to know about. We've got Johnny John taking out last week's lows, also going inside day. And that's 322 as well. Here, the inside day, UNH, also an inside day. That was in the nightly vid. I'm seeing XLP. An XLP inside day, but taking out last week's lows because I can look up there and I can see Pepsi doing it. I can see Colgate So this is all early evidence after our last Colgate's. It was real nice here, that 3-2 last week. So we're just looking for those types of concentrations and to see if they continue, because we can focus on them, as we start the week off, and then as we get into Wednesday, we get through the Fed to see if this strength and energy, weakness in XLP continues. And then next week, we want to start looking for these bars that are nice, long, red, and green. And then we can go back to here and make sure we got some more major signals. The monthly. And once again, the macro video is going to come out tomorrow. So I got a little behind, so we'll get that done. And so here's taking out last month's highs. All right. That's something I'd want to know about. Western Digi, we know, right? And a bunch of shenanigans in here. Valero, that's more energy. That tells me that's good. Mattel does this. I'll pull it up for you. Mattel on the month. Strat month. Inside month, pokes down, boom, and off it goes. And I want to get back to CHD for a second because that's on the month, Strat month, and that's also XLP stuff. That was in the weekend video, I believe. Let's see what else we got here on the month. Taking out last month's highs because we know that SPY was doing this. SPY was puking, right? So if you're taking out last month's highs, anybody short something could stay short because they got this move on the downside in the futures. But you start taking out these highs, these are the guys who are in trouble. You got CVI also in here. That's another refiner. So right now it's still a bunch of energies in Auto Nation I talked about in the weekend vid. The 322 hits magnitude. But like I said, if you were short Auto Nation last month and it did this on you while the SPY was doing this, you're in trouble. We want to trade against people in losing positions. We know anybody short that thing is getting raked over the coals, right? And we want to help rake them. If we go to taking out last month's lows, last month's lows so far, and we knew we got some earnings coming out. Uber taking out, that's an inside month to the downside. D-Dog here, inside month to the downside, having problems over there. If we go to EXP, we've already been there. Airbag and Bag just came out with earnings, so we'll let that happen. Carvana, oh boy, oh boy. And Carvana still having problems here. And you can see it's not a big range right now, but certainly still weak, right? And that's what we want to know, right? It's exhaustion risk as you're trying to go into the lows here, but because the market itself, like I said, SPY, starting off, it is a green month, right? So far, it's great. So far, it's great. The question, does it stay that way, right? And to start climbing this wall up in here. See what else we got on the downside. Well, that DoorDash, and that's an inside day. It was inside day, but it's just flirting with that downside, and we always want to know about what side of these levels are on there because it's telling us who's in trouble, right? So these guys longs are already in trouble, but the market's rallying back. It is not, right, so far. But then you got your inside day here to see if there's any hope to come back or just keep marching lower. If we go to, well, ROK was on the gap list today. That got hit pretty hard there on the daily. And one of the important things, too, is watching all this monthly damage. How are you going to look at this? I talked about a lot of this stuff in the weekend vid about how, like, 3 months here were consolidation, even though it was down, up, down, right, in that big range. And then if you get something like this, down, sideways measured move, now you got all sorts of problems. But, like I said, I don't want to waste too much time. We got JPOW coming up. We're just gaining a lot of information, and that's why if you stick with my nightly vids, the Strat Attack, the weekend vids, and certainly paying attention to those macro charts because that's really told a big tale this year. I'll be speaking in Vegas, 9 a.m. a week from Saturday if you can make it, because I'm going to have a lot of macro charts up there because those have been really huge moves, and it's stuff that you want to know about so you don't get carried out. All right, that's going to do it for this week. I'm Rob Smith, Smith the Black, Strat Attack.
listening to the Strat Attack Show.
It's over.
That looks like I'm running out of time again.
You ever seen a grown man naked?
And now for something completely different.
Yeah. Did you get that memo?
Go to Billy Baroo. Here's where they're buying.
Oh, behave.
Here's where they're selling.
Oh, righty.
I'd keep an eye on this. Is that a problem? It is.
You just don't turn it off.
I'm Rob Smith.
I hate Illinois Nazis.
I'm Smith in the Black with the Strat Attack.